Hey guys, welcome to Nil's Gaming Den. I'm Nil, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest pure fiction, Rumor Mill. It would seem that the opinions of this current pure fiction has actually been rather mixed, some finding it quite easy, and others finding it rather difficult. I do believe that one of the more determining factors of that is how well your dot team is built, as dot in this current PF is incredibly strong. I'm just going to real quickly show my team for floor 3, but I'm going to show footage for floor 4. Alright, for the first side, I went ahead and just used the Herta Jade comp. This team was able to max out their side quite easily. This was on auto battle, so this very powerful team against these enemies, they're all ice and quantum weak, right? So Jade deletes pure fiction and Herta is quite good as well. And then I just used a dot team on the other side. For the abilities, I used rumor for Jade's team and I used drunk talk for dot. Okay, now let's dive in to floor 4. So for the teams, I'll be starting off with a dot team with a slight adjustment, and then of course a Lingsha for my DPS with a standard break team, Run Main, Harmony MC, and Gallagher. Finally, to fill in the support, I'll go ahead and slot Robin in as she does quite well with DOT. I normally give Run May this position, but she's being used in the break team. This is my Lingsha's debut for any type of in-game content, so I am quite excited for this.
Please stay
Of course, don't forget your buffs. It'd be a shame to lose that extra bit of goodness. You will notice in the top right that my auto is already on. I very much appreciate taking the lazy way out if I'm able to, and what better way to showcase my Lingsha debut by just kind of letting her do her own thing.
All will be swept away.
With that said, if you are having some difficulties with it or perhaps cutting it a little close, then I would strongly recommend turning off auto battle, as this team and pretty much any other is going to have some serious discrepancies in the auto battle fight. It's not the most efficient in its logic all the time, it's just a very generalistic logic. So if you are having some difficulties clearing on auto, do try turning that off and manually controlling your characters for a more optimal gameplay. There are definitely some characters that are much worse than others on auto battle, so do be mindful of that, especially if the character requires specific timing. I also do want to note that I actually am not overly partial to the break archetype. I don't know why necessarily, it's just not my cup of tea. It is still undeniable about how strong the archetype is, but I own 0 of the 5-star DPS for break units. So Lingsha is basically my DPS for break when I want to do that. And even with this in mind, Lingsha as well as some of my other break units are actually somewhat lacking in their relics and builds because I haven't taken as much time to put them together as I have, let's say, my follow-up attack team. So unfortunately it is what it is, but despite that, they are still able to do just fine and get the job done. I can't wait to see them whenever they are fully built though. It's going to be quite exciting. Despite not having a strong taste for the break meta, I loved Lingsha enough to go ahead and get her, and I made up my own reasons as well. Just like, she is technically able to do a lot of follow-up attacks with her pet and stuff like that. So she has follow-up attack synergy, which I run. I love running follow-up. Follow-up attack is one of my favorite teams, that and Dot. So any excuse to get her, because I really liked her, I just went for it. And it was just a very pleasant treat to find that she was also a delightful DPS. I will say though that I did very much like Rappa quite a bit. I really wanted to roll her. Unfortunately, the other characters they teased, Sunday and Fuge, as well as getting Adventurine's Edolan, E1 at the very least. I just wanted to secure them too much, so I couldn't role on Rappa at the time. I am still quite certain though that I will probably go for her on her rerun.
Still the same old. Let's improvise. Let the show begin.
Everything in this world is bleeding.
All will be swept away by the wind.
As you can see here, the end of the final turn is fast approaching. However, the goal, at a bare minimum, the goal of each team is to get 30k per side. And this team on auto battle, being semi-poorly built, I think did a fantastic job. We don't quite kill Bronya, but we do end up with a very respectable 29.5k points. So I will take it.
They don't
Now,
look happy to see us.
this side, of course, it's the dot side with Robin as the support. Remembering to buff up, of course, finishing with your attacker, which is Kafka in this case. I am going to go ahead and say the dot team is a lot more forgiving on auto. They're a little bit less concerned with the order of things. However, it's still a drastic improvement if you control them directly. It's just, it's not quite as punchy as some other teams, is pretty much what I'm saying. When you take auto battle, you're basically knowingly giving up a fair amount of damage no matter what team you use. It's just a matter of mitigating that loss to the greatest degree possible. What really makes auto battle comps like this work, right? So, and just let me say, Dot, though it has fallen from grace, it is through no fault of its own, and it still performs exceptionally well, despite not having a dedicated support or sustain. You know, like Aventurine and Lingsha for their respective archetypes, right? Or Robin and Runmei. It's such a shame. We need a dot sustain and a dot support. And I can't wait for the day when they decide to finally get around to doing it. As I mentioned, I love DOT. Dot is one of my favorite archetypes alongside follow-up attack. And also, I do want to clarify, I am aware that DOT is using Woha for the sustain and usually Runmei or Robin for support. They are both fantastic options. But whenever I'm saying it needs a dedicated support / sustain, these units are just the best option that work. They are not DOT. So something that can also contribute to it, like Aventurine's follow-up attacks, or the like, would propel DOT into the stratosphere. So I look forward to it.
Time to say bye. Boom.
It's okay. It's okay.
Relax.
Stars echo.
Beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
Time to say bye. Boom. Didn't hurt.
Out of moves. You're all in on it.
Fiends or devils, I'll crush them all!
Time to say bye. Boom. still.
Stars Echo!
Beneath the waters lies an endless abyss.
Relax. Time to say bye. Boom.
Unfortunately, we're not going to quite down Yangqing, but we still secure 3,600 points for this side, easily doing a full auto of 65.5k overall score. Okay, taking a quick look at my team builds, you're going to find that they're not overly impressive. Especially my break team. I haven't had a lot of time to build it. Lingsha, sitting at 138 speed, 2600 attack, 182% break. She has her signature Lycone. Her traces are pretty close to max. She has lantern accessories and iron cavalry relics. She is E1. Harmony MC is mostly built for a little bit of extra speed with some break effect thrown in as well. I gave her Dance Dance Dance. Her traces still need some work, sadly. I have Talia and Watchmakers, but once again, the stats are a bit lacking. Of course, E6. Ruan Mei. She could probably use a bit more speed. 204% break with 2200 attack. Has her signature Lycone. It would behoove me to finish up these two remaining traces, but she's not bad there. You can see quite the disaster here, where I have her on Watchmakers, but not even a complete accessories set. Unfortunately, I actually missed it, probably because I was lacking some stats or something like that. She is also E1. Gallagher. 1600 attack, 144 speed, and 154% break. Has quid pro quo. Traces could use some work, 2 and 2 for extra healing and speed. I could place this with an actual 5-star, and since he's running a lot with Lingsha, I could also consider upping his damage or swapping out the healing for break effect. I'm not convinced just yet though. And of course he is E6 as well. For our lovely dot team, Kefka, 3,800 attack. She's okay in speed, I guess. Has her Lycone, of course. Her traces, though I should probably max some of them out, namely her ult relics. Of course, as dot, I'm going to give her Prisoner and Glemoth. She is E0. Black Swan, 3k attack, 136 speed with 127 effect hit rate. I don't have her signature Lycone. I'm using Eyes of Prey instead. I don't have her skills capped, but it's still fine for the most part. I'll probably consider capping her talent, but I have other things I need to focus on first, unfortunately. Prisoner, and for her, I'm actually using Pan Cosmic Commercial Enterprise for the additional effect hit rate and attack. And she is E0 as well. Robin, 4,200 attack, 120 speed, has her signature Lycone. Most of her talents are capped. I should consider her attack since that actually has some value with her, but it's not overly important. She also has a 2 and 2 to further increase her attack. I, for some reason, have her on Fleet of the Ageless. Oh, it's to bolster allies' attack. Yeah, I need to switch that. And one of them's not even a 5-star. Wow, so horrible. She is E1. Very powerful E1. Definitely worth getting. And finally, our sustain. Whoa. A 122 speed with a 6,500 HP. She's on post-op conversation. Give her extra energy. Her ult is capped. I still have her on Hackerspace and Fleet of the Ageless. And she is E0 as well. And that is a wrap for today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it and were able to glean some useful team building suggestions off of it. While I was able to do both floors 3 and 4 on full auto battle, if you are having trouble with doing these floors, do not be afraid to take off auto battle, as it is highly inefficient in its decision-making process. It has a very set logic and it doesn't deviate from that, so you can often get a better result if you take control yourself, as long as you are playing somewhat optimally. Alright, until the next video guys, see you around.